The bravest god in all of Norse mythology was not a god of war, but what if he was? What if the god of war also had to be the god of something else? Something kind of paradoxical, like heroic glory. Well, that's who Tyr was. The one-handed god, whose name literally means war. And despite being the god of war, he was actually regarded as the bravest of the Norse gods, even though he didn't really have any of their typical superpowers. We don't know a whole lot about Tyr, but one key part of his mythic legacy is his role in the binding of Fenrir, a monstrously huge wolf and another one of Loki's other children. See, Fenrir was so big that it took 8 of the gods to hold him down, 1 for each of his massive legs and 1 for his head, which is pretty impressive, until you realize that those 8 gods were literally holding him down so that the dwarves could make some shoes for him. But then Fenrir got a little rambunctious and started to break free. So Tyr stepped in and stuck his hand in the wolf's mouth to keep him in place long enough for the other gods to finish tying him up. Now, this is where things get a little weird, because Snorri Sturluson, the guy writing down all of these myths, tells us that Tyr knew full well that sticking his hand in the mouth of a literal monster was going to result in his hand getting chewed off. And yet he did it anyway because he was the god of war and also the god of heroic glory. And sticking your hand in the mouth of a literal monster is about as glorious as it gets, I guess. Not that you should try this at home, of course. So, while the other gods were able to bind Fenrir with an unbreakable chain, thanks to Tyr's valiant sacrifice, he didn't actually stick around to see the victory. You know, sometimes being the god of war means you've got to get out of there before your godly essence starts smelling like wolf spit and blood. So Tyr just, threw his hand into the nearest volcano, and then went off to Valhalla to be with Odin, where they probably reminisced about the time they both got their butts kicked by a giant serpent. You can learn more about that through additional resources.